Thank you very much. And I think I have some slides there. First of all, thank you for inviting me. And it's a pleasure to be here. My name is Croitoru, and I'm in charge of Africa sales for Cambium Networks. Together in the room with you, you also have my colleague Livingstone Wanko, which is the technical manager for Nigeria and for the broader Africa. And I'm extremely happy to be together with Kendall, with Ifeanyi, and with the team today, and celebrating their success. I think it's good to go on the second slide. Yes. So I was reading the other day. Well, actually, not the other day. Earlier this month, this article on The Economist on African startups raising unprecedented amounts, and the article goes on and on about the opportunities and about what is happening in Africa and in Nigeria in particular. And somehow that came right on time with Kendall's call to have this presentation, to do this presentation, and it was just in time, because I started thinking what actually makes Tizeti successful. Because if you are looking on the statistics, it's one out of two startups. They fail to scale. So I kept on thinking, and definitely the first thing which came in my mind about Tizeti is about innovation. And what you heard today in the presentations which you just attended, the super app, the turbo, what all the activities they are doing on the banking. Tizeti has been innovating on all levels, not just the connectivity, which I'm working with them very closely on the landline connectivity, but also on different levels, be it cloud or super app, as I mentioned. So a general amount of innovation. And then the second one, because historically Tizeti has been offering this service to residentials, I think it would be the value, the services which offer value. I think that's the most important thing when it comes to residentials. Residentials are very sensitive, as you know. Well, with an enterprise, when you are selling enterprise and you are failing, you can have a conversation, a professional conversation. You understand the failure, and then you take corrective actions, and then you move on, and you move on, and then you continue to do business. With residentials, it's a bit more difficult. You fail once, he might leave. If you fail twice, he will leave definitely. So having the right value, I think, has been the key for Tizeti to reach 10 years. And the last one, because it's a long time, is definitely grit. And what is grit in my mind? It's passion. And you have to be passionate about what you are doing. And Kendall and Ifeanyi have proven this on and on, that they are passionate about it. And in general, in startups, if you are not passionate about it, you will fail, because you will face so many problems along the line that you will just say, you know what, I'm quitting, I'm doing something else, I just want to drop and move on, and I want to be hired. So perseverance would be the second one on grit, and definitely a bit of craziness. So once again, happy anniversary to Tizeti. That was a picture we did back in 2017 when Tizeti kept on growing. I'm very happy to be together with this amazing team since, well, almost the beginning of the times, and since the first financing round, and really looking forward to see as Tizeti keeps on growing. The last things which you also see on the right side for me would be, starting from the startup phase to the early growth, going to what Ifeanyi was just mentioned earlier, which is going to different regions, to different territories. And I really look forward to see Tizeti, the next Pan-African operator. If you can, the next slide. Great. A bit about myself. I've been, and I'm sorry for not being together with you today. It would have been amazing. Unfortunately, my visa did not come in time. And this is an opportunity for one of the earlier speakers when we're speaking about digitalization. I think the state and the services, the public services, definitely, in some cases need a bit of digitalization. But this is me back in April 2010, when I was deploying one of the first WiMAX networks in Lagos. At the time, they were planning to offer services in between 500 kbps and 1 megabits per second. It was a startup at the time as well, which unfortunately did not manage to scale and did not manage to grow. But why did I put this slide? Because connectivity evolves, and it evolved over the past decade at such a pace that if you don't keep up with technology, you will be swallowed by the ones which do, and by the bigger companies. So if in 2010 we were speaking about 500 kbps to 1 megabit per second, now we're speaking about gigabits. So and in my last slide, you are going to see also a bit of a challenge which I would be throwing to Tizeti, and see how we can do that for the next 10 years and then for the next 20 years. So if you can switch to the next slide, please. Cambium Networks is a company I'm working with for the past 10 years now. So I'm from the very beginning with Cambium Networks. It is a manufacturer of solutions, I would say, and it has gone the level of manufacturing products. Cambium is manufacturing solutions, and moreover, end-to-end connectivity solutions, be it point-to-point, high-capacity, point-to-multipoint, Wi-Fi, switching, industrial, IoT, Internet of Things, managing all the networks, all from the central point, which is the CN Maestro, as you see in this picture. It's doing everything from one end to the other. We now have headquarters is based in US, but we have offices on 3 continents. We have it in US, we have in Europe, and we have in India, and keep on growing. We are listed on NASDAQ, and the heritage of Cambium Networks is actually Motorola. And if you can pass to the next slide, back in 2011, Motorola decided to spin off the connectivity division and the broadband division, and that's how actually Cambium Network started. It started with a product, as you see, the first one on the left is PMP100. It was a product which did 14 megabits per second. So that was the capacity of a point-to-multipoint access point back in 2011. It was 14 megabits per second. Now, if I go across the years, if I just jump to the latest one and I'm looking at the 60 gigahertz equipment we have, Cambium has launched just a couple of, almost 1 year ago, we are speaking about 3 gigabits per second. So things have changed, and companies which adopted technology and which have been at the forefront of technology adoptions have been the one and are the one, like Tizeti is, which are celebrating. So being the one which focuses on technology, which focuses on innovation, which focuses on their customer, is definitely bringing the rewards back. And what Tizeti has done, and as is part of the success, is the fact that they are offering solutions, the same as a successful ISP would do. And this is the life of a service provider from a landline connectivity point of view. And I'm sure that the Tizeti team is vibing with me when they see that tower with a lot of antennas, and they can very easily understand the amount of craziness which is there, the amount of interferences, disruption in service, and all the problems which are coming together. So one of the things which, one of the very early discussions when I was meeting Tizeti team was that we are having a lot of calls coming to our call center. We are having churn. So that's how everything started. So all in all, and I'm seeing that because I'm in charge of the whole of East and West Africa, starting from Ghana, going all the way to Mauritius, and I'm meeting ISPs in different parts of the world, in different parts of the continent, and when I see that 80% of the time they're spending is in managing their network and just trying to solve the problems of the existing problems, and only 20% or less is on getting new customers and going out there and doing business development, I think that's a big problem that has to be solved. It has to actually, if not 80% of the time spent on growing the business, on doing business development, and 20% on managing what you have, at least maybe a 60-40. Because if you spend most of your time in trying what you already have, when are you going to go and further grow? So this is, if you go to the next slide, please. This is why, we are celebrating now, or the question is, so why are we celebrating 10 years now with Tizeti when they have so many problems? And I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to be part of this story. And I thank Kendall and Ify for trusting me at the beginning, and for trusting the equipment I was promoting at the beginning. Because I truly believe that Cambium networks and the products that they have deployed and they continue to deploy now to connect residentials have proved to be the right choice. So if you can go to the next slide, please. The next one, perfect. If you can just go and fill in the slide, that would be perfect, because there are multiple clicks you have to do over there. What Tizeti understood is that they cannot just offer connectivity. And first of all, and the second one is that there is more out there. So we started with a particular product, and at the top of the line, you see a chain of products that Cambium has in the portfolio. And they also understood that it's not one solution fits all. It definitely has to be a tailored solution. If we are speaking about city center, or if we are speaking about the outskirts of the city, it's a different environment. City center might need gigabit connections. So maybe a 60 gigahertz CN wave is suitable. While on the outskirts, where you have longer distances, where you have maybe not so much demand and your customers are more price sensitive, you might want to go with a different product like the one on the right, which is the EPMP 4000. So one of the, and this is pretty much my conclusion on why Tizeti managed to grow and to achieve 10 years and to celebrate these 10 years, is that they have embraced a variety of technologies and mapped those technologies against the requirements and against the realities on the field. Because you can go with a very good deal of a Ferrari to somebody who has $1,000, but he will not buy it. You have to speak on the voice of that $1,000 budget. So this is something which Tizeti has done very well in mapping the demand and the needs and the products. So if you can go and fill in the rest of the slide, this is something, and they have gone one step further. If you remember, they have deployed a massive Wi-Fi network around Lagos. We have partnered also in that one with them, and we are doing now, I think, more than 4,000 to 5,000 access points around Lagos, which offer connectivity to the street level. So offering the customer, and I was so glad to see earlier today the super app, where through the same app, you can take advantage on all the packages, on all the connections and all the connectivities, all the services. I think that brings a lot of value, because yes, you might be in the city, you might want to have connectivity there as well. So the super app will save the day. And then when you're at home, the super app will again save the day, because you can connect on your fixed broadband. And as an example, we have been partnering to do an end-to-end solution with fixed broadband, bringing the connectivity from the tower, from the mast to the street level, and further on from the street level, going one step further, one level further, going to the end customer. And reaching the end customers on outdoor also opens pretty much a unique opportunity, because all of a sudden, you start knowing details about that customer. You can start filling up a profile. You can understand that this customer is more moving is roaming on this area, is connecting on Ikoyi or on Lekki, and this is where it's spending. So it can further on as we move and as things evolve, it can go into a massive marketing tool. Because I start to know things about this customer, and of course, with his approval, with the customer's approval, I can inform that customer about what he actually needs in his area. So it's going to be as targeted as possible. And the last but not least is also the fact that we are covering everything from 10 megabits per second to 3 gigabytes per second. Everything connected into a single point. This is another example where having a connectivity, a Wi-Fi, and the camera, everything bundled together into like a campus is is justifying the direction that Tizeti took. That just not connectivity only will not just do it. So if you can go one step further, what we see now, we see campuses everywhere, and we have particular programs for education and for hospitality, as well for healthcare. So all the partners that we are having who are doing projects on the education, for a school, for a university, who are doing projects for a hospital, we can help them and offer them better discounts and better prices, because we are we care very much about these two directions. But going on a broader scale, campuses are everywhere. We see them on logistics, on warehouses, on healthcare, on smart cities. And just one product will not fit, it will not do it. Just bringing the connectivity there might not do it. So having an end-to-end solution, having the connectivity, the aggregation through switches, and the last mile, which is on Wi-Fi, everything supervised by a network management tool, is what makes the life of ISP so much easy. Because in a matter of seconds, the support team can find out what is the problem when a customer calls. This is one example where which we have done lately, which is the Delta State University. It's been a full end-to-end solution for them as well. We know that the students are very much consumers of data, consumers on all levels, be it personal or educational. And one thing that COVID has taught us is that digitalization has to happen, and education and digitalization of education has to happen, because people and students might not be able always to be in the class. And also learning at distance, it's at their fingertips. So it can go one step further. From schools, we have done factories, and very proud to do the Dangote factory. As well, we have partnered with Zenith Bank to offer to connect all their branches. And it's not just connectivity for one customer. It can be connectivity for the customers. It can be connectivity for the guests. It can be connectivity for the special services that they're having. So the three pillars that we are pretty much sure that we'll do for any campuses are the switching, the fixed broadband, bringing the data to the ground, then aggregating it through switching, and then one step further, deploying it and offering it through Wi-Fi, be it indoor or outdoor Wi-Fi, be it hotels or schools. Any of them can be campuses. And if you can go to the last slide, I think that would be, and that would be my last slide. That would be also a challenge and the vision. Well, no, if you can stay on the last slide, please, on the one with the conclusions. One challenge for Tizeti would be to offer 100 megabits per second to all Nigerian households as their minimum in 2032, when we are going to have again the 20 years party. And then 10 years later in 2020 and 2042, when we are going to have the 30 years party, to have in their portfolio the minimum of a gigabit for the households. Of course, everything can be augmented by a 5G technology, but fixed broadband for the residentials, which are more and more demanding, be it because of their YouTube, be it because of Netflix, and we see how much the streaming services have grown in the past years, is one thing that we have to make sure our customers are receiving it properly and they are enjoying it.
Fantastic.
So having said this, it has been a pleasure. It has been a pleasure partnering, and it is a pleasure partnering with Tizeti and working with them to deploy fixed residential services, and I really look forward to meet them and to do plans for the next 10 years, because I think it is the best is yet to come. So thank you very much. It has been a pleasure speaking with you today and being in front of you today, and have a nice event further on.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ionut. We're about to have lunch. What would you like to have for lunch? Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Yeah, I said we're about to have lunch. What would you like to have for lunch? We can
for
send
lunch.
it.
Oh my!
What did you say?
That's a good. Well, if I would be there, what I would have for lunch, I don't know. Definitely some rice with some meat. Definitely.
You will live long with some smoky jollof rice and snail. Thank you so much, Ionut from Cambium. Look forward to having you physically here, hopefully at the next Gen 3.0.